What's a weird thing you think only you do? Use my turn signal to change lanes on the highway. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. And to the commenters. Yes. It's mostly sarcasm. I have to let my wife go up the stairs first when it's bedtime because she has an irrational fear of being shot through the letterbox. Edit for the Americans. A letterbox is a slot in your door the postman puts letters through. You call it a mail slot, I think. Edit 2. It's an irrational fear. Which is why it makes no sense. It's not debilitating. If I am not there. She just runs up the stairs. When I need to make a decision, I consult an imaginary person in my head who is a combination of everyone I know, and they give me advice that I'm really giving myself. I used to think that I was the only person who stood like a flamingo, but Reddit showed me there is a whole subspecies of us. When I mow the yard, I pretend I'm on ESPN and 2 sports announcers in my head are commenting on how excellent I took that turn. And the precision movements of my mowing. When I go get the mail, if I hear a car coming, I run in the house real quick so they don't see me and then look through the blinds like I got away with something. I try and make sense of license plate letters like acronyms. Whenever I see a pigeon, I always say "Ah, bonjour, monsieur pigeon." Absolutely no idea why I do this. Particularly as I have zero connections to France. I pick up random objects and answer them like a phone. The caller, usually a police, always wants to talk to my cat, and I argue that my feline friend does not speak common tongue, and it often escalates in heated but brief exchange. No matter how firmly I state my point, they always keep calling. Sleeps holding my hand between the thighs. Save all my emails as drafts and then release them in one giant wave. Whenever I think about a cringe time I had in my life, I start singing or humming to cover it up. Make weird noise when I think I'm alone. Like clicking and mooing. I squeeze my soda can ever so slightly so that I know that it's mine. Growing up poor with a lot of siblings tends to make you a bit competitive. Twist my wrist a few times as I reach to open a door. Gotta make sure the wrist works before I get there. If I go in a store to buy things, and I leave and forget to get something I needed, I won't turn back around and go back into that store. I will drive to a different store to get. Haven't done this in years, but I used to look at myself in the mirror until everything stopped feeling real. Like I'd contemplate that the person looking back was a different person. Kind of felt out of body. It's honestly hard to explain. I can only describe it as when you say a word over and over again until it sounds fake, but like an existential version of that. When I have intense shits, I feel the need to get fully naked. Once, when telling a story, I yawned at the climax while saying, "And that's how he died." Killed the moment, but now that line is so associated with yawning I still say, "And that's how he died," whenever I have let one out. Makes for awkward water cooler conversations at work. Even out the egg carton for symmetry. If I'm taking out 2 eggs, I take them from opposite ends to keep it balanced. I think this stems from some deep childhood memory of dropping a carton of eggs because all the weight was on one end. When comfy and falling asleep in bed, I rub my feet and or legs together or just against the blanket. Or I kinda rock my hips side to side. I just feel immense comfort in the movement and motion, and it's a sign for me I'm super comfy and content. Edit to add. When me and my mum are together, it's like being on a boat. We both cannot stand still and sway side to side constantly. She blames it on her doing it throughout her pregnancy with me. I'm not even aware I do it until someone points it out. When a car drives past me, I try to remember the number on that plate. There's no reason for that. It just automatically happens. I count, in my head, the number of stairs I'm going up. Don't know why. Don't count them going down. Only going up. I am almost certain that I am the only person who, after going on my daily 5K run, cools down by walking the whole path through the IKEA showroom and marketplace. I only started this a couple months ago when we moved to a new house about 10 minutes walk away from an IKEA. I find it very calming and stimulating. Though, if I have a plate with multiple things on it, I have to eat one specific thing at a time in order of worst to best. For example, if I had a plate with collard greens, corn, and mashed potatoes, I'd eat the greens, then corn, then mashed potatoes. When in the car, I pick my right foot up as we pass the white lines and tap it down between them. Have done this since I was little. Canceling out actions. When any part of my skin touches something, I always try and do the reverse movement to cancel it out. Example. I brush my leg on something. I'll do the reverse movement to fix it. If I don't, I can feel something is wrong in my leg and I'm uncomfortable. When editing any on-screen text or text, I aggressively use cut and paste instead of retyping letters to avoid waste. If I type the same word twice, I'll take half the letters from each word and put them together to be fair. Example. Ignore case. If I had banana banana it would become banana. Words with odd numbers of letters are stressful. I talk to myself. And not just talk, I mean full on ramble. For over 8 years now I have been going on my scooter and outside where I put on my own show in my head. With these characters called Jibos, which are robot human things against other Jibos with dark magic and weird crap. I don't know why I do this. And I don't just think of the dialogue and chitter chatter. I genuinely blurt it out. It embarrasses me but I keep on doing it. And sometimes when I get really into it my voice gets louder and louder. Personally my favorite part of it is when I get to do the sound effects. But other than that this thing that I do concerns me. I hope I'm not mentally ill. And #X200B. Also if you wondering, just today I finished the season 94 episode 31. It's where Theo, a tank, goes back through the Neo warp towards his home to regulate all the things that has happened in the previous episode. Not as much these days. But when growing up, riding in a car looking out the window, I would click and hold my teeth during grassy sections and release for concrete pieces, roads, sidewalks. Update. I totally had thought I was alone. Never actually told anyone this. Also, I do have an OCD diagnosis for those who asked. Unsure if that's that. I sometimes feel the urge to sort of tense up, shake. Like you might if you got a nice surprise or shock. And so I wait, till I can't be seen and have a moment and then move on. I've done it my whole life. No idea why. Since a very young age. I have had a nervous tic where I would chew my tongue. I thought I was the only weirdo who did this until I was reading a book. And the author describes the protagonist as chewing their tongue. I weirdly felt validated for my odd tic. I have a weird stress reliever where I take a piece of silk fabric and rub it between my fingers. I went through a lot of shit as a kid and at the daycare there was a random piece of cloth. I don't know why. But I attached to that thing and it's almost like an addiction at some points. I've usually always had a piece of silk somewhere. I know it's weird. But for whatever reason, it helps a lot, so it's kind of been my little secret for years now. I like to taste salt, seasonings. Like, pour it into my hand and then lick it. I do it only when nobody else is looking because I don't want to be seen as weird. When I am alone and I remember an embarrassing memory, I'll make random loud sounds to block it out. Kind of like what you do to your siblings when you were a kid and you were trying to block them out. Have philosophical debates with myself. Like I'll be in the shower and argue with myself what proper distributive justice is. This thing I called the perfect bite. I eat around the best part of a meal and end it with the best. Whenever I drive by a group of animals, usually cows, I wave at them. Subconsciously thinking a demon is watching me every time I close my eyes in the shower. I know they're not, but I just can't shake the feeling. If I walk anywhere near someone that coughs or sneezes, I will quietly close my mouth and breathe out my nose until no oxygen remains and hold my breath. In what I can only describe as me trying to seal myself off from germs. I know a lot of edible wild plants. So my friends would tease me for randomly breaking off from the group to eat a clump of grass or suspicious fruit. When I give my dog a Kong, I sing thong song, but replace thong with Kong. Dat Kong. 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 I have a pattern made up of rights and lefts. The rights and lefts can be expressed by actions like tapping with my right or left hand. Just wiggling my toes. Or anything else. It starts with right. Then I take what I've done, mirror it, and do that. So now in total I've done right left. Then I repeat the mirroring until it's too much to keep track of or I feel like I've done enough. It also has to be an even number of mirrorings so that it ends on right again, since that makes it symmetrical. Right left left right left right right left left right right left right left left right is a typical length. I came up with this in like elementary school and at first it was like a good luck thing. I think it's like a compulsion that people with OCD experience, but I've always been able to ignore my desire to do it with little difficulty, so I definitely wouldn't say I have OCD. I've got other similar things that also seem like compulsions but are easily ignorable. If I touch something that has an unpleasant texture, microfiber towels do this to me. I have to either touch something more pleasant or put on lotion. I have battled with sinus and allergies issues all my life. I've learnt by sealing the back of my throat with my tongue and the top of my mouth. Then expand that space using my tongue muscle. I can sometimes suck the mucus down from the nasal canal down into my mouth with the air pressure created. If it's just allergies and I'm not sick, this is usually enough to clear my nose. Whenever I get ready for bed or take a shower and I go to take my pants off, I have to kick them up with my foot and catch them in midair before they go in the laundry. Underwear as well. I am an adult. Each glass or cup in the kitchen has a specific dedicated liquid and reason. Some coffee cups are meant for rougher, moody days and other coffee cups for brighter days. If I'm home alone, I will host a cooking show for no one while I cook or bake. Create a drum beat with my tongue knocking against my teeth, left side for kick and right side for snare, and tense my jaw to do a bass line. Run up the basement stairs every time because I'm convinced that will be the moment whatever lives down there finally gets me. I microwave ice cream. I like it when it's just starting to melt a bit. So I put it in for like 15 seconds to get it to that point quicker. I constantly have music running in the background in my head. Right now for some reason it smells like Teen Spirit. I make shapes by pressing the buttons on whatever remotes I'm holding. For example, with the remote I have, the volume and channel buttons are in line with one another. I will press the plus button for volume. Move across and press the up button for the channel. Then go down to press the down button on the channel. And move to the button for the volume in the shape of a square, rectangle, and repeat it many times. I will also make triangles and other shapes in similar ways. And I'm not even looking at the remote doing it. It's all based on feel. I hold my breath when people pass by me so as not to breathe in their negative aura. When I shower I stand on the sides of my feet as I don't like the feel of my feet on the wet floor. I love Flight Radar 24 and have the app on my phone. I'm fascinated by jets and air travel and love to see where they came from and where they're going. There I am, this guy who travels almost nowhere internationally, looking at a little speck that's been in the air for 12 hours and came from Malaysia. Or Oslo. Or Cairo. Knowing that information is fascinating. One thing I love is that on Christmas Eve, they show the location of Santa on the map. I can't write papers using Times New Roman as the font. It really bothers me to the point I lose focus. I write everything in the default Pages font, then change it when the paper is done. I imagine things are going to happen in a certain way, which they never do in reality, and those things make me angry in advance. I only turn the volume up to even numbers or multiples of 5. Before I open a can of something, like soda or beer, I blow on the top and wipe my thumb across the unopened opening before I open it. Been doing it for as long as I can remember and don't know where it started. I count the syllables and letters in a sentence. Makes me feel better when I type, write, say in odd numbers of both syllables and letters. Whenever I hear a real number, e.g. if someone gives my money back or when I hear someone's birthday, I just sum the digits of the number and check whether it comes to my lucky, favorite numbers, between 0 to 9. I pace while listening to music. I don't really like to dance. But I like to move with the tempo while imagining a dramatic kind of anime-esque fight scene in my head. Each song has attached itself to an emotional thought or occurrence in my life in my head. The music is always better when I'm moving. Especially in the car. But I'll pause the music if the car is stationary because I know I'll enjoy it more once I'm moving again. I fold paper, wrappers to make a sharp edge and rub the sides of my fingers on it. It ruins any book I come in contact with. When I sleep I put my head into the gap between bed and wall. I can't sleep on my back. So that way I can breathe like I'm on a massage lounger. Spread my butt cheeks when I'm on the toilet. Make peanut butter, jelly, salami, and bread and butter pickle sandwiches. Even I don't know what possessed me to make that. But I like it. As far as I know, I'm the only one who can do this. I can lower my heart rate to about 33 BPM in under a minute. My doctor says it is likely because I have some level of conscious control of one of the nerves that regulates heart rate. Apparently there are a couple mechanisms that control heart rate, and one of them sets the base rate, which forces a beat at around the 30 BPM level. The second speeds up that beat according to metabolic demand. I seem to be able to turn off that second one, leaving only my base rate. This could have something to do with the fact that I'm a genetic anomaly, with a rather large duplication on a short arm of my X chromosome. The genetics lab that found it said they had never seen nor heard of a duplication that large in that area without significant issues. The only symptom I seem to have is slight bilateral mirroring. One hand will twitch the same muscles I'm using on the other, like if I'm writing with my right hand and relaxing my left. My left fingers will slightly twitch. Normal symptoms of duplications in that area are things like small stature, small head, weakness, low muscle tone, severe mental disability, etc. I have none of those. Basically, I'm weird. I count down from 10 when filling containers and try to time it perfectly so that the container is filled when I get to 0. Every time. I have always grinded my teeth. It's terrible. Sometimes I'll grind my teeth or bite to the beat of a song. I favor eating from my right hand when I'm eating something directly from my hand like chips or biscuits, because I think the food tastes different if I eat it out of my left hand. I don't do this anymore. But when I was a kid I used to pour Elmer's glue on my hand, wait for it to dry, and peel it off. Very satisfying. I should take that up again. I have taken a picture almost every single day for the past 4 years and store it in my eyes only on Snapchat so I can remember the past. I have SDAM, severely deficient autobiographical memory syndrome, basically where I have no emotional connection to any memories. And I feel like a new person every single day. I completely live in the moment and remember events as facts, as well as in third person. I thought everyone experienced this until my sister said she had emotions for basically every memory, and that completely shocked me. I do feel emotions in the present, but they are very dull, and don't last very long. Whenever I look at pictures of me, no matter from what date, it never feels like I am looking at me. I came into consciousness at around 12 to 13 and I don't remember a thought before that. Just memories that are there. Talk to myself and literally have a conversation with myself for 30 minutes whenever the rest of my family is sleeping. When I wipe my ass, I wrap some toilet paper around my hand a few times. Wipe. Fold it in half. Wipe again. Fold it in half again. Then wipe a third time. Then repeat that process as many times as needed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.